Hey toy collectors, welcome to another super exciting, outrageous toy review. Today, we're taking a look at Ninja Force Zartan. Wait, but Zartan's not a ninja! I hear you saying it. But actually, before the events of the G.I. Joe comics took place, Zartan had infiltrated the Arashikage clan, working with a swordmaster there during the time that the rift happened between Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow due to the assassination of the Hardmaster. I don't want to say too much because of spoilers. Anybody with a loose knowledge of 90s G.I. Joes knows about the brightly colored punk rocker version of Zartan. Zartan's original action figure, released in 1984, was the leader of the Dreadnoks, and the Dreadnoks were a motorcycle gang. And that's where I assume they get the biker gang, punk rocker, Mohawk design aesthetic for this figure. I'm not totally sure. But the original Zartan was much more unusual with his black face makeup and his hood that might be hair occasionally in the cartoon, but was usually a hood. And his armor plating, like he was going to ride a dirt bike. And the new version is just very, very different, but definitely takes some keys, like the face paint, this time being in orange, from that original figure. So Zartan has an orange mohawk. It's actually a separate piece that's been glued onto the head. But occasionally I do find them at yard sales and toy shows with this mohawk ripped off, and he's got like a slot in his head. He's got orange face paint on his face. It's more intricate than the original version, but the original version is sort of covered on the sides with the hood, so we don't really know whether it has these tall points. And like the original Zartan, he's got those blank white eyes. As we move down his chest, he's kind of barrel-chested. He's got a big torso there. He's got a leather jacket on it. It's got some nice detailing over here that wasn't painted at all. And it has an orange chain here. Why we couldn't get another color paint app, it's a little disappointing. But he's got a nice bright orange chain on his shoulder. His arms are kind of bare. Or at least the one is completely bare. The other one has a little bit of an elbow pad here and a black glove. I kind of prefer more uniform decoration on guys, so I kind of wish he had similar gloves on both arms. Oh no, I have a dreaded elbow crack forming. Let me tell you, this figure that I'm reviewing came straight out of a package. Like, I unboxed this toy to make this video. So the fact that he's got an elbow crack is pretty crazy. There's a lot of people online who have been putting drops of oil on the figure's rivets to help prevent that kind of a crack. I don't know if that will do anything or not. It definitely lubricates it, but the fact that this was cracked, and this is like the first time the joint's ever been moved, makes me go, I think there's a lot of internal pressure there from the riveting process. As we move down the figure, he's got green pants with some purple details. He's got a purple belt with a black buckle. He's got these purple nodules on his leg here, which are actually sheaths for a knife. He's got purple shin guards over black boots. I think the boots are actually a decent callback to the boots on the original figure. They're not exactly the same, but I do kind of like their fit. I really wish he had the official Zartan shoulder pads, because that, to me, was always like his calling card. Zartan, Xandar, and Zarana all had them. It would have been kind of cool. As far as articulation goes, Zartan's head can turn side to side. It also moves up and down just a little bit. It's on a ball joint, but it's not super flexible. He's got swivels and hinges at the shoulders. He's got a swivel at the bicep and a hinge at the elbow there. His waist is very different from other G.I. Joes. This is not an O-ring figure. He has a swivel point here, which is his action feature. He does still have the bar down below here that makes his hips work the same way as a standard Joe. So I kind of wonder how that works in this whole process. He doesn't have like a T-crotch kind of thing, which I'm glad, because the T-crotch figures, like the Ninja Force Snake Eyes, just aren't as good. And he's got a bend at the knee. So as I mentioned, I took this guy off the card for this review. I actually bought this guy right around the start of Corona. It's one of my early eBay purchases. I've been really trying to complete my G.I. Joe collection, getting accessories for guys I never had the accessories to, things like that. And I found this Zartan online with a really messed up card back, and the bubble was all yellowed. So I bought it, and I didn't feel bad opening it because he was so beat up. And even the card art is so screwed up with this sticker here that says that he was $2.50, but originally was $4.99. So, even with the bubble still there, I wouldn't have wanted to hang this on my wall with the big price sticker of his face and the yellowing and stuff. So I took it off, but you can see what the package looks like here. It's got that Ninja Force pink logo and the pink background here. You can't see a whole lot of the art, but in my Ninja Force overview video I did with my buddy Kieran, he mentions how Zartan is looking this way, but the bow and arrow is shooting that way. It's kind of funny. There are some directions here on how to use the figure's spring action Moroto chop. I do kind of like the little drawing of Zartan that they use for that. The back of this package shows off a bunch of the Wave 2 figures from Ninja Force. It talks about the Ninja Lightning motorcycle. Below the main cross-cell, we have our flag point and cross-cell for DEF and Battle Core. At the very bottom, we have a file card. There you can see that ridiculous artwork like I was talking about, where he's looking off to the side. My personality changes as often as my look, and they're both bad. You're right. Your outfit and appearance is pretty terrible. So everything on the figure is numbered here, and you can see that he's got an assault chain, he's got a sword-blocking forearm guard, dual leg sheaths. That actually does work. Shuriken shaved Mohawk. It's a lot of goofy stuff. If you're really into Zartan's bio, pause the video here and you can take a quick read on that. So fresh out of the package, Zartan came with an accessory tree and a little catalog, Menace in the Wilderness. I remember this catalog, and this catalog has some real goodies in it. There's the international action figures with Mail-Away Budo and Big Bear and Big Ben and Spirit. The Ninja Viper and the Mail-Away Cobra Wolf. We've got the Mail-Away Deep Six and General Hawk. The reissue Mail-Away Whale. My friend Britt got this when we were kids. Oh my gosh, how amazing was it to have a pristine whale in the 90s. Last but not least, of course, you could mail away for a collector's case that came with a mystery figure. Guess what? It's Hooded Cobra Commander. The weapon trees were a trend in the 90s, and it was your job to clip these off as the consumer and have your own accessories. So I have a couple weapons for Zartan already, but we're going to take a look at what he comes with. He's got a figure stand. He's got this really nice sword. This is actually one of my favorite sculpt weapons for the Ninja Force weapon trees. I always thought this was an amazing looking sword. He's got the sickle. It's interesting that there was a handle that got attached to this with a rope for the original figure that it came with in Ninja Force, and they just sort of dropped the handle part, and they just started giving out the sickle. He comes with 2 knives. They are important, and I'm going to show you why in a few seconds here. He's got a machete and a bow and arrow. Now, all of these weapons are reissues. The bow and arrow originally came with the 88 version of Storm Shadow. This knife came with Spearhead and Max. Most of the other stuff is Ninja Force related. But the bow and arrow is probably the best accessory on here because Zartan was an archer. He used a bow and arrow in the Cobra Civil War for a very important task. I think the sword is great because, like I mentioned, he did have some time working with an Arashikage swordmaster. And the little tiny knives, even though the execution's a little goofy on what I'm going to show you, I think they're decent. The sickle and the machete, I could have done without them, but, hey, more accessories are fun when you're a kid. So when you're gearing up Zartan for battle, not only can you give him 2 weapons to hold, but he also has these 2 little holsters on his leg where you can stick 2 knives in there. There's 2 on the sprue. I only have 1 loose. It seems a little dangerous because he's going to stab himself in the thigh. But, it is neat that it's a working holster. I would have rather it, been on the outside and held the knives this way, but probably because of the seams and stuff, it probably just wouldn't have worked. Even just one that went maybe this way could have been better, but I guess that would have been goofy. I'm not really sure. I can't totally fault them for the execution. The seam goes this way. I forgot. It probably would have been easier to do it on the outside. That's ridiculous. I don't know. I'm not really sure. But I do like that they tried to do the working holster thing there. I always liked it when the guys had backpacks that could hold weapons. And by this point in the line, they weren't really giving anybody backpacks anymore, which is a little disappointing. They would have been handy for carrying swords around. But the Ninja Force guys don't have screw holes in their back, so they can't wear backpacks. Many of them did still have O-rings, but, you know, the mechanisms inside, they didn't want them being messed with, so these guys just didn't come apart. Is Zartan my favorite Cobra character to be put in Ninja Force? No, not really. It doesn't make a ton of sense narratively, but it was only going to get worse, because if you saw the plans for the 1995 Ninja Commando line, they actually were going to add Road Pig, another one of the Dreadnoks, to Ninja Force. Maybe that was following in Zartan's footsteps, but I think a big portion of it was just putting popular characters on a sub-team to help sell toys and boost popularity. Ninja Force was led by Storm Shadow, then they added Snake Eyes, Scarlet was in it, Zartan. These are all big name figures. I have a video about the best-selling G.I. Joe vehicles, and the #1 selling vehicle of all time was actually the version 1 Zartan and his swamp skier vehicle. So I'm sure the execs at Hasbro knew Zartan was a household name. He was very prominent in the cartoon when that was being done by Sunbow. So Ninja Force Zartan is definitely an odd one. He's kinda goofy. I never had him as a kid. I actually mostly avoided Ninja Force. I was starting to get out of G.I. Joe at the time. I was very excited for the Street Fighter figures because, you know, I was like getting close to being a teenager and was into the video game concept, and those figures were kind of disappointing. Well, I didn't know it at the time exactly, but they were all Ninja Force repaints. I kind of did figure it out with Scarlet and Chun-Li right away, but I didn't know all of them were direct translations, really. But, like, Ryu and characters like that, they just weren't quite right. I didn't really like the ninja feature, and so that probably was part of what discouraged me from going back and grabbing more Ninja Force characters. In the comments down below, let me know what you think of Ninja Force Zartan. Is he amazing? Is this a great nod to his days in Cold Slither? I would have rather had a Cold Slither figure than this figure. Thanks for watching this super exciting, outrageous toy review. Make sure to like, subscribe, and check out my other videos.